What's up, everybody, and welcome to Classic Video Review. As you guys saw in the last movie review, if you watched it yesterday's, I did switching goals, and I talked about I was going to be doing, I was in the midst of doing Passport to Paris. So that is today's movie, Passport to Paris. Finished it last night, but it was super late, so I'm doing it now this morning. It's not good. Again, I am not the target audience for this film, for these films. But I will say this one was probably the most well shot out of all of them. As far as like camera work goes, definitely well shot. This one had something that none of them else had, and that was a good music soundtrack. Or I don't know, the songs were decent. I liked them. I was jamming out to them a little bit, but I think they were all in French. Maybe that's why. So the girls are in junior high. They're goofing off. They're pranksters, getting into trouble, just not focusing on their schoolwork. And they know nothing about history. Well, their grandpa is the U.S. ambassador, the ambassador to the U.S. over there. And the parents decide during like one of their vacations or whatever, I think it was spring break or something like that, which the girls were super excited about because they were going to go to this dance with these two boys who didn't even know their names, couldn't tell them apart. Well, knew their names but couldn't tell them apart. And so the parents, they must have some money, were just like, you know what? Here's a present, passports and tickets to Paris for this vacation that's coming up. Cat's about to knock over my camera. And then they realized they were bummed. They went over there. They have this strict, nerdy concierge. I think that's what you would call them. The food is just... I'll tell you one thing. The things they were naming off for foods that they were trying to feed them, that's revolting. It was all like different type of organs and whatnot. I mean, maybe it's good for you and maybe it tastes good, but at the same time, it just... borderline cannibal. I know it's like pig and different animals, but just ugh. Snails? Who eats frog legs? Oh, chocolat bleu. Oh. The accents. Yeah. So the girls meet these two guys, and they come across like doofuses, but so the one, he can somewhat speak English. The other one's English is pretty decent. But then they have their French. The one girl knows how to speak French, but she doesn't have to because she's talking to the boy, who can speak English pretty well. Then the doofus one, at least that's how he comes across, he can barely speak English, and the girl he's interested in can barely speak French. And she ends up screwing up, I guess, a bunch of times. Like she told the one waitress lady that she stunk or smelt bad. Which then they meet a supermodel, who then they somehow get to fall in love with the concierge guy, the nerdy guy. And at first they're like messing up on the scheduling, going places they shouldn't be, because they have this whole itinerary, the places they gotta go, and it's museum after museum. And yeah, it is what it is, right? It's a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen film. Well shot, good soundtrack. The acting is, like, again, over the top, cheesy. But I think that's the charm they're trying to go for. I don't know. It ain't for me, though. What would I give this on a star rating? Oh, and at the end of the day, they enjoyed it so much. The grandpa comes around and becomes more fun. Eventually, at first he forbids them to go in dancing or hanging out with these boys, but then he changes his mind and buys them nice dresses, and he tells them about how the grandmother met, and eventually even flies back over with them to America because he wants to go on vacation with them. They do the famous jinx joke where it's like they both say something at the same time, jinx, and you gotta wait till someone says their name. which that happens in the midst of them doing this conversation about trying to get this guy to endorse something with the water. I don't know. I was kind of half paying attention at that point, and then I just remember them both saying it, and then saying jinx, and then the grandpa had to unjinx. It was just, ugh. It is a different guy though that I believe. Actually, I need to check here. Who wrote this? I don't remember their names from that one movie that was awful. Getting there. Yeah, here's the back of it. But what would I give it in the star rating? Soundtrack was pretty good. I will say that. Was well shot. Acting's over the top, cringy. Not for me. The writing's kind of kind of stupid, honestly. It's not as good as Switching Goals, and I think I give that one a 2. I'm gonna give this a 1.7. It's a step up from a lot of the other ones I've watched, but it's a little bit below Switching Goals, so 1.7. I would, if you're a little girl or you are a woman or whatever, I don't know. If this seems like something you want to watch, go for it. Not me though. But I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.